Well, hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Join the club. It is your girl, Kiara Michelle, and I am super, super excited to be here. I am excited to be here, not just because it's been a while since we've had an author interview, but because of who this is personally. This person in front of me right here is Mr. Isaiah Jones. I'm going to say it again, Isaiah Jones. And if that last name sounds familiar to you, it's because we had his father on the show. Not once, but twice. His father's my writing coach. Like the Jones family, amazing. So that is why I'm excited. Reason number two, I'm excited. He is a fellow Bulldog. He is here at Bowie State University with me. Okay. I'm not going to do a chant because I'm not a chant person, but we're Bulldogs, Bowie State. I'm excited. So y'all just had to know that. Mr. Isaiah Christian Jones, I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. He is currently a sophomore attending Bowie State University. He is majoring in psychology. His hobbies include gaming, drawing, and writing. He plans on becoming a high school counselor, a military counselor, or a chaplain in the Army. He also aspires to opening his own counseling business for youth and families. His book, Red, Yellow, Green, is his first published book, and he plans to continue and publish more books in the future. You guys, I'm so excited. This book was amazing. I can't wait for you guys to hear this. So, Isaiah, I drop the mic to you.
Alrighty. Well, we are going to start on page 56 in my book, Red, Yellow, Green Insights on Dating for Teens. As I read the second paragraph down from the top of the page, the four main points I want you to get out of this book are understand how important communication is, know what you want in a relationship, have your parents' permission, and last but not least, have a healthy relationship with God. If you have and understand these four things on both sides, then you should be progressing towards experiencing a healthy dating relationship. First, I'm going to start with the parents' permission because without that, I probably wouldn't be writing this book the way I'm writing it. Parents play a big role in our life, and if you want to believe it or not, my parents will agree that my dating phase took more time than needed because I didn't follow their instructions. When parents stop your dating process or put it on hold, it's for your good. If you're reading this book, your parents are helping you become a healthy dater. My parents wouldn't let me date until I was 16, but more importantly, not until I read a book that has impacted my life in a healthy way. The book that changed my life forever was entitled Dateable. The book's basis was to help you improve yourself while dating in the future. If I were you, I would also read it. After I read the book, my parents finally opened up dating to me. It felt good to accomplish a goal that they wanted me to do. We started coming closer as a family unit, and I had a better relationship with my mom after we clashed all the time about dating. Fast forward to now, and my mom is in full support of me dating, and she gives me permission to take the young lady I like out on dates and go to her house to see her. Your parents aren't being nosy when they ask questions about who you like. They only want to know if the person you like will treat you right. They know more than you, so it's good to listen so you don't make avoidable mistakes. Just because you talk to your parents doesn't mean they will let you date. This is where communication comes into play because saying you want to date doesn't mean you're ready. When your parents say no, you can't date, you can't take it to heart because they're looking out for you. When your parents shut down the dating topic, it means they want to prioritize what you're thinking about as far as your future goals. My dad did it to me multiple times. I'll have C's on my report card and I'll do my chores, and he'll say, "Don't talk to me about dating until you got your life prioritized." He would also say, "How can you take care of someone else if you can't take care of yourself?" And he was right. If you can't take care of yourself, don't try and rush taking care of others. Taking care of yourself means getting good grades, doing your homework and chores, and creating a lifestyle to succeed in life that includes setting and accomplishing goals, taking care of your mental and emotional health, and learning to invest time into interests and hobbies. Also, if you're trying to have a relationship, you need to know that you need to know what you want out of it. You can't be trying to get sex because then you'll be going back to the red light. You can't start a relationship then decide you don't want it, because then you're confusing others because you don't know what you want. You're being indecisive, and that's not healthy at all. If you don't know what you want, then be single. That's the point of the yellow light time period, because that, hold on, long time period, so that you can know you want, you can know what you want before you get it. You wait so that you can, so you don't hurt yourself or someone else, because then it won't be looking good for you. Last but not least, God is very important in this stage of dating because he can be heavily involved in our lives if we allow him to be. I know for me, by writing this book, he's showing up in my life big time, because he's showing me things and putting me in situations so that I can write in this book. Now, I will admit it, I need to be more involved with God so that I know the things he wants for me on this path of life. For me, faith in the dating world has done me well. After my ex, I didn't get into another relationship for an entire year. I decided to just wait for him to show me what girl he has for me instead of rushing it. And yes, there were many times I were impatient and I tried rushing things, and either the girl didn't like me or just didn't respond. And looking back on it, those were blessings in disguise. The girls God protected me from are either now in bad relationships, or are single and complain about how they are so lonely. The last girl I talked to got upset with me when I felt God was telling me to slow things down. If I didn't listen to him, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I think my mentor's daughter is a reward for obeying God and finishing the project he put in my mind. First, I think this because I wasn't trying to rush into a relationship. Her parents had to approve and evaluate me as a person, let alone want to date their daughter. Second, because everything that's happened is natural. Nothing is forced, and we also communicate about how we feel and we understand each other's viewpoints. Her family also believes in God, so we have their religious connection. I think if we tried to rush things and try to do things our parents don't approve of, then the relationship would be spoiled. There's nothing worse than trying to enjoy some food and you open it up and then it spoils or it goes bad. That's what happens in a relationship where people do things that are inappropriate. The relationship goes bad and throws off the wrong things. If we learn to wait and have a relationship, not only will our parents be happy, but God will also be happy with what we do. Instead of trying to date behind our parents' backs, we should involve our parents in a healthy way. We should we should make sure our parents approve of each young woman and young man. Also, since our parents get along, it benefits our relationship as we date with flexibility and trust. As you can see, having God, parents' approval, and an understanding of dating will definitely benefit you and your journey on the teen dating. Take it from me. Follow the route God has planned for you, and you'll be surprised with where you go. From that time period, maybe, what was that, a year ago? I've grown a lot and evolved a lot. A lot of things have changed from that time period of writing this book. And honestly, in writing more books, I've still seen God as a pillar of my life where that relationship is very important. More so God than my parents. Just dating people in general, having God to really steer you and not allow you to get sucked into one thing or allow you to be tempted into doing something else. You really save yourself from being scarred. So, to all the teenagers out there that are listening, please follow God and don't try and follow yourself or lead yourself, because it's not wise. Trust wisdom. So, yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Oh Jesus. Oh God. Oh, oh, that voice change. Oh, thank you, thank you so much for that. It was so insightful. Let me show you guys what this beautiful book looks like. It's so colorful. It just makes you want to read it, honestly. And like the red, yellow, green system, that system, it's a system that works. And people, I don't know why they try to change it. And like little kids, they get like blue lights now. I'm like, what is a blue light? No, stick to red, yellow, and green. But I I loved how involved, how you talked about your parents and how like you actually listen to them. Now teens, I know it's hard, and I know we're older, so of course, like we can talk about being close with our parents now, but no, start that early. It can save you from so much trauma. So much trauma.
Really
So
can.
they can guide, they can be your best friends, honestly. I mean, I know it's a process, but I am ready to dive into all of my questions. I think I got more just by listening to you. And
Okay,
I'm with the deep questions.
cool.
Now, in your book, you discussed how like girls, like how God protected you from some girls and like how they're not doing so good well. Were there moments of how honest you were about them? Were you scared about using that in the book?
Um, no, because as I've seen it play out after the book coming out, there have been more people that have been in that range of not being happy. Um, I can't even say it's because of me. I just think it's because of my protection. Like say it's I can't say without my presence they're unhappy. I think it's just because of the way that life goes. Not everybody is permanent. If you understand that, then a lot of things become temporary. So feelings are temporary. A lot of relationships I've had were temporary, so it's not anything bad. Um, and I really didn't care if they read it or not. It's not about them. It's about the people listening. It's about future generations reading it to get wisdom. So if it hurts them, I mean, it's not intended to. It's just wisdom.
Right. Honestly, that's a good response to that. What encouraged you to use real life experiences in this book?
Well, it's funny because a lot of the real life examples I used, I really just flowed. Like when I was writing it, my dad wanted me to be authentic in my first writing experience. So if I'm writing a book about teen dating and I've already done it in a not so healthy way, in a kind of healthy way, it would just be best to go ahead and talk about it instead of sugarcoating it to be something that it's not. I feel like if you're authentic about your life and you're okay with what's going on, then you should never feel like you'll be embarrassed. If I felt like I was gonna be embarrassed, I don't think I would have wrote the book. But it's just kind of like at the end of the day, how much can my, you know, fall downs prevent other people from falling?
And that's what makes the book so great is how honest you were about everything. You were honest. You said it took you a long time to read that book, like a
Yeah,
couple years. A couple
literally lost,
years.
literally lost it.
Now, the book goes between a male perspective and a female perspective. How did you go about your information on the female perspective?
It was actually my sister. Like my sister was in college at the time. So when we were talking about writing a book, it was very hard for her to set aside time since it was her freshman year at college. So when we got together for her winter break, yeah, when we got together for her winter break, she started writing and we finished it when we went like to celebrate Christmas. Me and my family got together and we went to celebrate Christmas and she finished her her female perspective by the deadline. So that was how that came about. And I honestly don't know if she, talked to her friends about it, but I just know the basis of the female perspective came from my sister.
When reading her chapters and her thoughts, what did you feel reading it?
It was definitely new. And it was funny because we never really like talked about dating at that point. Like it was just kind of like a little like we talked about it, but it wasn't really anything serious. Like now we definitely talk about it because we're getting older and we're
Mm-hmm.
building our relationship more than just being brother and sister. Like we're actually like best friends a little bit. Like it's really cool to have that type of relationship. So when I was writing this, it wasn't like I didn't want to talk to her about it, but it was just kind of like I guess you'll read it when you read it, and her part the same thing. So when I read it, it was just like wow, that was very insightful because now not only do not only does the person reading, whichever gender they may be, whichever part that they're reading, they can still have an understanding of the other genders, like their thought process at that age, even though it's just one person, that still counts as a thought process.
That is the hardest thing about books about any type of relationship, is it being biased to one side. So I really love that it had both sides. So now hold on, lost my words. How far apart are you and your sister?
A year and 3 months.
A year, three. See, it's easier for y'all to be close. Me and my little brother are 5 years apart. We will never be best friends. I love you, Kendrick. I'm sorry, but we will never be best friends. The dude randomly sent me a potato head yesterday. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But I love that. I really do love how you get both sides. It's not biased. I love, guys. You guys know. Oh my gosh, you guys know I love a good journaling book. There are spaces in this book where you can answer questions and write. I love a good journaling book. Now I ask, do you journal to God in any type of way?
Yes. It's,
How often?
I was gonna say it's not as consistent because I know for me, it's like something I actually enjoy doing. If I don't write it down in a journal, um, I usually put it down on like a Word document, or what I've started to do is write poems. And what I write, it's like I feel it. Like, of course I'm writing it as I feel, but it's basically an open communication to God about how I'm feeling. And most of my poems recently about have been about like one main subject. So it's just kind of like, I think we both know we're on the same page as it is, but I feel like writing and journaling is something I definitely need to strengthen as a result of journaling to God. But during that process, that was definitely something I was doing. Like I was actively journaling my thoughts and emotions, and then like I go through that phase every single time I write. Like once I start writing something, whether it be a book, a poem, or just something, like I start to really get into a depth of writing. Like I'll write anything.
So, what was your writing schedule like when writing this book?
Every day. I think it was more than likely like every day, like maybe an hour or two every single day, because I was a senior in high school. So I had already completed all my classes and I really just had like a couple classes to do. And that means not a lot of homework. So that means every day I was going home, I was more than likely writing.
Props to you. I was asleep. I was asleep in school. I was asleep. I only had like what, two real classes, and then the rest were like mentoring and aiding. I was asleep.
Yeah.
But I love that. Now, you talked about your dad and how he wanted you to be authentic. You guys know he had to help out with this book in some type of way. You guys, he had to help out with this book in some type of way. The foreword, for is that how you pronounce it? Foreword.
Yeah. Forward.
The
Yeah.
for the foreword. You know what? Forget it. I'm done with the word. It was written by your dad. Now, how involved was he in this process? Did he try to take over at any point? Did he put too much of his thoughts in it, or just how was that?
And literally, he like when I first brought it up to him that I wanted to write something, like I wanted to write a book, he had said he gave me we had a conversation about it. And throughout the whole process, I asked him questions about what I should do and how I should go about it, but he would never like, there was no bailing me out. Like I was literally having to figure it out. And it was just kind of like, I could do it, but at some point it was very stressful because I didn't know what to do. But most of the time, I want to say like 90% of the time, he had his hands off. So it was just kind of like, if this is something you really want to do, you need to be dedicated to it, because he wasn't gonna hold my hand through it. I was becoming an adult, so that wouldn't have been the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first book. It's a little scary to do all by yourself.
Yeah.
It's I'm a little scared, but I get that. It is, especially when you're writing about dating, especially that topic. I would cry. Oh Lord, bless you. Bless you in this book, because guys, the book is really great. Now you talk about being the best version of yourself in this book, basically. That's the theme that I took away from it, being the best version of yourself in all areas. God, with your parents, yourself, you. Do you believe you, yourself, Isaiah Christian Jones, are the best version of yourself right now?
Like starting from the book, like where I was at when I was writing.
When you were writing, right now, just you. This is what you believe.
Um, Honestly, yeah. I mean, like everybody has improvements, so I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but I feel as though in my life right now, I've evolved so much from that book. Like the guy that wrote that book is not even the same person. Not only because of experiences, but just because of life itself. Like I've went through so many other phases of life after writing that book. It's like by the time I write my next book, you would have seen the growth, not only in the writing, but just the way that that the author that wrote this book and me now is totally different. Not only just by looks, but just by the way I carry myself.
Now, since you mentioned it, and people here in the Join Up Club love to spend money and buy books, what will this next book be about?
Okay, so I have like a couple. I have like a couple, but I think for me personally, the next book that the book I'm currently writing, I'm gonna just start off by listing the two that I know I want to come out. So the
The
book I'm
two. He said two, y'all. He
the,
said two.
the one that I'm currently writing right now, um, as you know, also that it's a dating book, but it's geared towards young adults. Like this was for teenagers, so this is all like kitty, it's just kind of like it is what it is. Um, it's teenagerish, but for this next one, it's really a deep dive about what dating is and what it like it. I just feel like the evolution from this book, and when I was reading it, it was kind of funny because it was just like how much I've thought about it now. That's just it's so surface level, like it's just the top.
On this, you want to get way in.
Yeah,
Yeah, have fun with that.
and
Have fun with that.
and the one that I'm really focused on getting out now is a kid's book. It's a youth book for ABCs of positivity. So it's like each letter has a positive term. So like A is awesome. It's a positive term that a young child can relate to and use those words in their vocabulary to make it more positive. Like instead of going throughout the day and not really having anything positive to say about what happened, this book would literally like allow them to see on a basic level, I had a great day. And that's positivity. Like it's basic positivity.
Where did this passion for like just helping the youth with dating or like positivity, where did this passion for focusing and helping youth come from?
Honestly, for me, it was just out of a stem of not really having it. Like I had my parents, but throughout the time it was like I wasn't talking to them. So it was just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna figure it out. Which wasn't really the best way to do it, but I can't go back now. So it's just kind of like it is what it is. So everything that I learned, I'm going to give back. And with everything that I've gone through, everything that I've seen happen, everything that I've talked to friends and family about, um, it's easy to, as a writer, once writing, it's easy to now focus my thoughts, get them on an outline, just start letting my creative juices flow to go ahead and give back. That's a way that I know I can give back without struggling to find what to do to give back, because sometimes you can get caught up in what it's like trying to figure out what you can do. But I know for me, writing is definitely something I know I can do to give back. And honestly, it's wanting to give back to kids, but it's also having content for my kids. Like when I have kids, I know I have something to pass to them that they can see clearly. Like as they're actively growing up, I would have already taught them these things, and then they can just read about it because it's from their father.
You know, a lot of authors that have come through that, their main reasoning is for my children. And like I interviewed one lady and she had her kids' handprints in the book physically for them, and they were young, they couldn't read yet, but I think that is beautiful. And writing, no one understands the power of just writing. And that's why I
Mhm.
feel like we're the same person, because there's no other way to describe it, but you described it perfectly. And so let me get this right. This one, this is the surface, but you want to dive deeper into it. But it's for teens. So what was your age range of teens for this?
Middle schoolers,
Okay. Okay,
like
preteens. Preteen.
so sixth grade. I want to say six, like middle schoolers and high schoolers, because even high schoolers don't have. So the basis of it is really like you need to have a job, a car, and parents'
Mhm.
permission to date. Like that's just the surface level of how you can enjoy, like have a quality time of being able to date. You don't get a car until you're about like 11th, 12th grade, maybe. You don't get a job until you're 16. And you usually don't get your parents' permission to just go out and do stuff until you get to about 11th or 12th grade anyway. So it's really middle school and high schoolers, because those are times when they're really trying to figure out life as it is. It
Mhm.
doesn't really make much sense to them, but they know that they want to have friends and date and go out and explore. And you kind of need to like reel all that in a little bit, because if you just try and do too much, you're going to create a lot of problems for yourself.
Absolutely. So we got this middle school for your middle schooler or your early high school, 6th to what, like ninth grade maybe? That's like what,
Yeah.
10, 10 or 8th grade, 10 to 13-year-olds. There you go. There you go. And then this next one will be for teenagers. It's like 14 to 18 or 19. My teen's still a teenager, but I'm a junior, so I don't want to call myself a teenager. I don't want to do that. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited. Join the club. I hope you guys are excited too. See, I'm so fidgety. That's how excited I am about this now. Just because one fun question. One fun question. Personal enjoyment. Are you currently dating right now?
No, it's not
No.
because I don't want to. It's just like I know I have a job. I have my parents' permission, obviously. I have the lifestyle that I want. Like it's in the process. So I've wanted to become an author. I wanted to graduate high school. I wanted to get a job. I wanted to be able to support myself financially. I'm doing the things that I've always dreamed about doing. So I feel like if I were to go out and date somebody, um, the only thing I need is transportation. I don't want to have to rely on my parents to get me from A to B. So I really will start dating again after I get a car or learn how to drive my car.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. It took me forever to learn how to drive. I had a car. I did. I had a car for like 2 years, but didn't get the license until 2 years later.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. No, I respect that so much. You guys, this interview is gonna be so great just because of this dynamic right here. You know what the ladies of the Joiner Club said? We act like cousins. They said it was like cousin dynamic because they watched our interview on Instagram. This interview is gonna be so great. I hope you guys love it. I know I got one more question. I do. Let me find it. Let me find it. I'm so excited. Actually, I don't. Actually, I don't. Oh, this was fun. Oh, can you please tell everybody where to purchase your book from, please?
You can purchase this book on Amazon. Purchase it on Amazon, and you can purchase it on J Media. It's like the website. Oh my gosh, that just went out my head that
Well,
fast.
look at the screen. You can't see. It says jmediamarketplace.net that
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
from your
Okay, yeah, I
bio.
see it right there. Yep, there you go, right on the screen.
This is gonna be great. Join the club. Please don't rush to grab your pen. You will already know it'll be in the bio that is above this interview. We will also be airing on YouTube in the YouTube channel What Women Are Thinking with the little green thing if you're not sure what the logo looks like. I am so excited. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
You're
On
welcome.
my
Thank you for
show.
having me.
You're welcome. Join that club. What women are thinking. It's been real.